guys, welcome back, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make your own custom Hux from the sequel Star Wars trilogy. And he's a very interesting character in the trilogy. I think he wasn't too great in The Force Awakens, but he definitely got some great character development in The Last Jedi, and he's pretty good. So, someone suggested I do a custom Hux, and he also suggested my last video, and I said I would give the guy a shout out in my last video, which is the Black Widow and Captain America video. So he suggested that I cut Cap's shields for that video, and he suggested I do a custom Hux, so I'm going to give him a shout out here. So his name is E28 Roz Wars 28. I don't know if I'm butchering his name or not, but he has a very interesting name, and he has a very interesting channel as well, so you should go check his channel out, see if you like some of his videos. But we're going to get into the minifigure now, and the different options for the figure. So the actual official minifigure with like the hair, I have two options here, the one with the hat and without the hair, or you can give them both. So the official minifigure uses a hairpiece kind of like this. So basically this hairpiece, but in this red color. So I don't have that hairpiece, so if you have that hairpiece, definitely use it, but I don't. So I use the J hairpiece from the original Ninjago series, so that's a good option, and that's the hairpiece that I'm using. So the different face options here are the Rebel Trooper head, which Brick Bros UK used in their custom Hux, and I think it looks interesting, but not kind of angry enough, so I used this face, which is from the Mirkwood Elf figures from the Hobbit line. And it may be too hard for you to find if I call it Mirkwood Elf, but it did come in the Sandman, the recent, I think, 2015 Sandman set, so if that's an easier way to find it. And I think also the neutral expression is pretty good. The only problem is he doesn't have sideburns, so that's the only downside of this figure is, of course, there's no way I could give him sideburns without painting, and I don't personally like painting my minifigures, and especially a old head like this, but yeah, you can find it on Sandman or the Mirkwood Elves, and I thought that this face here was a very good face for when he's, giving his speech of the last day of the Republic. But yeah, that's the face that I thought it worked pretty good for. And I was looking at a bunch of different images of Hux, and you could give him a look without the cape. And you may think, what? Why does Hux have a cape? It's because he kind of has a cloak look to him. He has lots of robes and cloaks and stuff, so I thought the cape really added something to him. So the torso is from the Death Star Trooper and the new Death Star Trooper with like the new helmet mold, which did come in the 2016 Star Wars Advent Calendar. That's the torso piece right there, so that's the torso piece I'm using, is from that Advent Calendar. I don't know what other sets it came in. Probably the Death Star, if he's a Death Star Trooper, right? But yep, I used that torso there. I gave him a blaster just because I thought it kind of added something to him. I don't think he's ever really engaged in combat in the films so far, but yeah. And then the leg print, you could use multiple different ones. You could use this leg print, which does actually come with the Death Star Trooper, so I would recommend if you don't have this leg print here, which is Darth Maul's, which I'm using on the figure, which I just thought looked good for his robes and his kind of robed look, so that's why I used Darth Maul's legs there. You could also use Darth Vader's legs, which Brick Bros UK used in their video. And I think they look fine, but just Darth Maul's I just kind of thought looked better in my opinion. Because if you look at Darth Vader's, they kind of have a little bit of brighter lining, like a whiter colored lining on their leg print, and I think Darth Maul's has like a grayer lining that matches up better with the torso print. So that's pretty much it for the leg print options. You could use, like I said, if you don't have the Darth Maul or the Darth Vader ones, or the Darth Vader legs, you could use the Death Star Trooper legs, which do come with the torso. So if you don't have either of those, use those, or you could just use plain black legs, which I don't see why you would when you could use these. But yeah, and then the other option is you could use, or the other look, I suppose, is I couldn't find any other like cheaper sets that have the black kind of helmet mold that he has in the set, because the first set he came in was the Kylo Ren's command shuttle, and he had a black like kind of hat helmet type thing in that set, and I couldn't find any cheap set that had the black one, but I do have the blue one from the First Order Transport Speeder Battle Pack from last year, so that's probably still around, so you can use this for him. And it doesn't look too bad with the black, it just looks a little odd with the blue coloring, but I think it doesn't look too bad, and he does wear the hat when he gives his speech in The Force Awakens. So if you want to kind of recreate that scene, it's kind of an essential if you don't have the big set. And then another option I noticed is he kind of has more of an officer uniform as well. So for the officer uniform, you could use the technician, first order technician torso, which does look like this. But I think that one just looks a little too plain. The one that I found actually to be pretty good is I saw one image of him and Kylo Ren, and he has a very similar outfit to Kylo Ren, so you could use Kylo Ren's torso. But if you're doing that look, he kind of has less of the robes, so I'd recommend you use the Death Star trooper legs with that one, or the plain Kylo Ren legs, but just don't give him the cape. But with the two different designs, which one's kind of more of the officer outfit and one's kind of more of the robes, I'd recommend you. I prefer the robe look, so I prefer the Darth Maul legs with the Death Star trooper torso, the cape, which you can get on any figure. You got this one from Darth Vader, the Mirkwood Elf head, the J hairpiece, and you can give him a blaster for extra detail, but I don't think he's ever engaged in combat in the movies, like I said in the past of the video. And here's what he looks like with his hat on as well, and what he looks like when he's screaming his speech about the last day of the Republic, as I already stated. So that's pretty much it for this custom Hux. Like, I've showed you all the different options. You could use the lighter orange hairpiece, but I just think like the same hairpiece as Jay's, but in lighter orange, which you can get on Star-Lord and such. I don't personally like that. I think it looks too bright, but I think this hairpiece looks pretty good for him. And I personally prefer the hair look, so if you want, you can paint sideburns onto it to make it look even better. But that's pretty much all the options for General Hux. You could also use the Bilbo face print from The Hobbit, which doesn't look too bad, but that was probably least favorite out of the head options. I think the screaming face looks kind of funny, but I don't think that one looks that good. If you don't have the Mirkwood Elf, just use this face print, because I think it's fine, but it just doesn't have the extra hilarious detail of his screaming face, you know? Kylo Ren's doesn't look too bad, and I'd recommend, I don't have for like the different look, the Kylo Ren one looks pretty good, but I don't have the Last Jedi Kylo Ren, but if you have the Last Jedi Kylo Ren, I'd recommend using that version of Kylo Ren, but I only have the Force Awakens Kylo Ren. You can also use this one, but I thought that one just looked a little bit too plain. And I looked pretty closely at the images of Hux, and I thought that the parts I came up with were the most accurate I could find, so yeah, that's pretty much it on how to make your own custom General Hux from The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens, or just the sequel trilogy in general. I hope you guys enjoyed this video on how to make your own custom General Hux from the Star Wars sequel trilogy, as I've already stated. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a great day. Take care.